There have been lots of theories and explanations down through the centuries about the meaning of Jesus' death, but they are just that, theories. Many Protestants minimise or dismiss the importance of Jesus' meal, but without sharing in it regularly, we will never properly understand his death for us. We won't understand his we won't understand or imitate his audacious, stupendous hospitality, and will be amputated from the fullness of his power for us. Jesus' primary way of teaching us what his death means is through a meal. This meal, the Passover, was a celebration meal. It was eaten trusting in God before he delivered them, trusting that he would do what he promised that he would do, that he would deliver the Israelites from the bitter oppression of slavery, from the power of the gods of Egypt, from genocide and death at Pharaoh's hand, and bring them into the freedom of the land of promise. This meal, where the shed blood of the Lamb will cause death to pass over. The blood of the Lamb will be a sign for them in perpetuity to remember that God will save them. And it's a hurried meal with no leftovers, eaten, dressed, ready to roll, loins girded, sandals on your feet, and staff in your hand. 1,500 years after that first Passover meal, around 30 AD, Jewish people across Judea would be eating and drinking in the firm belief that God must soon deliver them out from under the Roman heel and make them free in their own land once again. That God would fulfill his promises to them. But on that night, Jesus was looking beyond deliverance from Egypt, beyond deliverance from Roman military occupation and economic oppression. Jesus takes this, the world's most ancient continuous feast, and says this meal has all along been pointing to me and what I am about to do. This night and the coming days are a far greater exodus than the one effected in Egypt centuries ago. I will deliver you from the bitterness of oppression, of sin. I will deliver you from the power of Satan. I mean, he's sitting there in the meal with him. And Jesus is like, whatever. I will deliver you from the curse of death that hangs over every human being and bring you into the freedom of the age to come, the life eternal. Jesus, sitting before them, whose shed blood will cause death to pass over them. Jesus, whose body and blood will be given as a sign for you to remember that God will save you. And those disciples gathered there are commanded to dress ready for an adventure, the adventure of their life. A life on the road, wearing a purse, carrying a bag, and carrying a sword with them as they face danger and death. In this Passover meal, Jesus also calls back to that extraordinary encounter in Exodus 24, calls back to Mount Sinai, where through Moses and Aaron, the first covenant was made between God and Israel, a covenant of life and peace, a covenant sealed in the blood of sacrifice, a covenant sealed in a shared meal eaten in the presence of God himself. Life for Israel with God had its ups and downs. And so many years later, at a time when the people of God were on the brink of another national disaster, with the threat of Babylon lying at the gate, God spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. He promised in chapter 31 that there would be a new covenant to replace the covenant of Exodus 24. And in this covenant, God would write his law on our hearts and fill us with his Spirit. Jesus says, this cup that is poured out for you is that new covenant in his blood. fulfilling the ancient prophecy of Jeremiah. It says there, then he took a loaf of bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, this is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. And he did the same with the cup after supper, saying, this cup is poured out for you. It is the New Testament, the new covenant in my blood. Jesus does not share this meal with just anyone. He does not share his body and blood with just anyone. He shares it with the one who has betrayed him in satanic communion, who betrayed him out of deep offense for cold hard cash. Jesus shares his peace with him at the table. Jesus shares this meal with those who refuse to hear him over their own thirst for position and power and wealth. He shares this meal with those who would act in wildly inappropriate ways in his name. He shares it with cowards who will run off and leave him for dead at the first sign of trouble. He will share this meal with those who would deny ever knowing his name. And he prays for them. Sinners all welcome. And just so, he will share it with you and me today. Amen.